A woman has the ability to see the thoughts of every person on the planet. In this reality, there is an unusual phenomenon. A red line connects people who have been intimate with one another. These threads are invisible to ordinary people, and only a young woman named Yoon-hoop possesses the unique ability to see them. One morning, she hears strange noises coming from the street. Carefully removing the cardboard covering her window, she peeks outside. She sees a man with an enormous number of lines above his head, trying to force an angry young girl into a car. The girl has only a single line visible above her. She lashes out at the man and quickly runs away. In the window of the building across the street, Yoon-hoop notices another woman, who also has quite a few threads above her head. When the stranger tries to greet Yoon-hoop, she panics and immediately covers the window with cardboard again. Even inside her own home, Yoon-hoop doesn't feel safe. She watches television wearing dark glasses, because she can see the lines even on the actors on the screen. She sincerely believes that people should not know too much. She received her strange gift at the very moment of her birth. As a child, little Yoon-hoop didn't understand the meaning of these signs. She simply drew them in her pictures next to the people she portrayed. One day, her mother became deeply distressed by these drawings, which revealed her father's infidelity. In the end, her mother took his life and then fled, leaving the girl completely alone. As a teenager, Yoon-hoop came to understand the true meaning of the red threads. She realized just how dangerous knowing other people's secrets could be. She tried to harm herself in an attempt to escape the torment, but her body possessed an incredible ability to heal rapidly. From that point on, she began studying the nature of these mysterious signs. She wants to understand who gave her this ability, why they did it, and who came up with these threads in the first place. Now she lives the life of a recluse in her dark apartment. Every window in her home is tightly sealed with thick cardboard. One day, a new neighbor, the same woman who startled Yoon-hoop through the window, brings her some treats and rings the doorbell. Yoon-hoop is too afraid to answer and only takes the fruit once the hallway falls silent. Meanwhile, a detective named Ji-wook begins another shift at the local police station. He grumbles about having to look after his niece, the very argument Yoon-hoop witnessed from her window that morning. He laughs it off when his colleagues tease him about finally starting a family of his own. During a break, Ji-wook looks for privacy with one of his co-workers. They secretly slip into the archives for a personal moment. However, the woman suddenly ruins the mood by inviting the detective to her upcoming wedding, to another man. At school, things aren't going well for Ji-wook's niece, Seon-ah. The other girls constantly bully and harass her. Hae-young pins the girl against the wall with a mop and demands money. She is furious that Seon-ah showed up empty-handed. Hae-young suspects the girl has complained about the mistreatment. Seon-ah nervously swears that she didn't tell anyone. The aggressive Hae-young doesn't believe her and violently shoves the girl. She is surprised to notice that Seon-ah is smiling for some reason. The bully then drags her to the very edge and starts making threats, promising serious trouble if Seon-ah goes to the teachers again. Later, Ji-wook responds to a call at a small apartment, where a tragic incident has happened to a woman who lived alone. One of the neighbors says he saw a suspicious person wearing a helmet, who was mistaken for an ordinary delivery courier. The police are baffled, since nothing was taken from the apartment. They can't understand why anyone would commit such a crime. That evening, Yoon-hoop eats the fruit given to her by the kind neighbor. She watches the news and learns about the incident in her area. In the surveillance footage, she recognizes the same person wearing a helmet. She is shocked to see that the adult man has only a single line above his head. Soon after, Yoon-hoop hears the sound of a motorcycle right outside her windows. She sees the helmeted figure enter the neighboring building. Convinced it's the same criminal from the news, she panics, grabs her phone, and dials the police. But at that moment, she sees the neighbor greeting the man with joy. A bright red thread of intimacy flares up between them. The next day, Seon-ah decides not to go to school. Her tormentors break into her locker and find a personal note inside. At home, Seon-ah asks her uncle, Ji-wook, for some money. She doesn't want to explain what she needs it for. Ji-wook grows deeply worried when he notices bruises on the girl's body, but Seon-ah stubbornly remains silent and offers no explanation. Later, the detective steps out onto the balcony and looks down at the street. He notices a strange apartment across the way, its windows sealed with cardboard. A colleague calls him and tells him about the strange report from the night before. Someone had phoned in about a man wearing a helmet, then abruptly hung up. The police trace the call's origin, and Ji-wook realizes it came from that same cardboard apartment. He decides to visit the mysterious resident immediately. Yoon-hoop peers through the peephole and panics. Hundreds of lines hover above the detective's head. She flatly refuses to open the door to the unknown man. A neighbor passing by explains to Ji-wook that the girl lives like a recluse. The detective keeps knocking insistently, saying he's there on important business. Only the mention of the incident convinces Yoon-hoop to open the door. She hurriedly explains that she simply made a mistake and took her neighbor for a criminal. Then she slams the door shut. That same night, the helmeted man with a single line enters the building again. Yoon-hoop hears his footsteps and watches him closely through the peephole. She panics when the man suddenly turns in her direction. The girl quickly covers the peephole with her finger. Meanwhile, Seon-ah receives furious messages from Hae-young, demanding even more money as soon as possible. Desperate, the girl sits near a bank, watching the ATM. She waits for a woman to come out with cash. Seon-ah follows her into a dark alley, planning to snatch her bag. But the appearance of a group of passers-by forces her to abandon the plan. At the station, Ji-wook and his partner find an important lead. It turns out that the victims knew a man named Jong-min. Looking at a photo, Ji-wook recognizes him as the same neighbor, the very man who had told him about Yoon-hoop's strange behavior. The detective wants to go check it out, but he's interrupted by an urgent call. His elderly father is in danger. Ji-wook rushes to the hospital and sees his father at the very edge of the roof. Fearing to startle him, he waits until the medical staff safely brings the old man inside. While Ji-wook is occupied, his partner decides to investigate Jong-min's address on his own. The apartment door is open, and he steps inside. Inside, he discovers a hidden room filled with extremely strange objects. What he sees terrifies the seasoned police officer. Shaken, the partner calls Ji-wook to report his horrifying discovery. But suddenly, he is attacked from the darkness, and the call is cut off. Jong-min brutally beats the police officer and ties him up. Then he puts on a helmet and goggles, declaring that only one target remains. Yoon-hoop hears the struggle and sees the helmeted man through her window. She realizes that her kind neighbor is in danger. She wants to call for help, but her phone is dead. Grabbing a knife and putting on her glasses, she steps outside for the first time in a long while. The street overwhelms her with indescribable terror. Her legs shake uncontrollably. Fear hits so hard that Yoon-hoop faints right in the middle of the road. Meanwhile, Jong-min sneaks into the woman's apartment. He removes his helmet and glares at the red lines above her head with hatred. He attacks her, claiming that he is saving the world in this way. Yoon-hoop comes to her senses, bursts into the room, and pleads with him to stop. The villain easily disarms her, slashing her in the process while laughing cruelly. The neighbor tries to defend herself with a pillow and knocks his goggles off. In a panic, Jong-min crawls on the floor, searching for his glasses. Ji-wook, having returned to the area, finds Yoon-hoop's glasses on the pavement. He rushes into the building and sees the injured Yoon-hoop struggling to resist. Meanwhile, Jong-min attacks the neighbor again. Summoning her last strength, Yoon-hoop grabs the knife and slashes the villain in the leg. Ji-wook draws his gun and takes a precise shot from the window across the street. Just before the end, Jong-min suddenly starts smiling. He rejoices as all the lines above his head disappear. While the doctors tend to Yoon-hoop, she reflects on the criminal's words. She realizes that it was through the glasses that he saw the world the same way she has seen it since birth. Seon-ah approaches her, revealing that she actually knew Yoon-hoop before. The girl tells her uncle the sad story of her friend's family. For the first time, Yoon-hoop feels a sense of relief about her gift. She understands that her ability to see the threads helps save a life. Soon, she receives a message from an unknown number. The stranger claims to see the same thing and invites her to come to school. In the morning, Yoon-hoop decides to completely change her life. She removes all the cardboard from the windows and puts her apartment in perfect order. At school, Seon-ah sees that the bullies have drawn a cruel picture on the board. Then Hae-young starts reading her secret love note out loud. A serious fight breaks out between the girls on the floor. The teacher, Yoo-jin, pulls them apart and tears the note into tiny pieces. After classes, Seon-ah finds an unusual gift in her locker. Inside are the very glasses that allow a person to see the red threads. Detective Ji-wook continues searching for answers in the criminal's apartment. He notices that the walls are covered with millions of drawn lines. At home, Seon-ah tries on the glasses she found and sees a line above her own head. When Ji-wook arrives, she screams in horror at the countless threads over his head. The girl runs outside and sees that the entire city is entangled in red connections. She feels a deep sense of disgust toward all adults. The next morning, she refuses to go to school with her uncle. Seon-ah is angry at him because she has uncovered his many secrets. At school, she begins to carefully observe her teachers. She sees that teacher Yoo-jin has never been close to anyone. However, another teacher turns out to be secretly connected to the student Hae-young. Seon-ah is shocked by this discovery and doesn't know what to do. At that moment, a new student is introduced in class. It turns out to be Yoon-hoop, who has decided to return to a normal school life. Ji-wook finds a photo of Jong-min wearing the glasses and realizes that a key piece of evidence is missing. He goes to the school to ask Yoo-jin about her former colleague. The teacher claims that she has never seen the man wearing glasses. Meanwhile, on the rooftop, Hae-young once again tries to harass Seon-ah. But Seon-ah is no longer afraid and declares that she won't give a single penny. When the bully raises her hand to strike, Yoon-hoop steps in. Hae-young tries to intimidate the new student by pressing her against the edge of the roof. In response, Yoon-hoop grabs her so tightly that she begins to tremble with fear. The girl releases the bully only after she promises to leave them alone. The bullies leave, but for some reason Seon-ah is not happy about the help at all. That evening, Ji-wook finds a bartender who knew Jong-min. He says that the man often talked to himself and was constantly counting something. Seon-ah secretly follows Hae-young and the teacher as they go to a hotel. She takes a compromising photo and sends it to her rival. But Hae-young isn't scared and replies that only an adult will suffer. She is confident that nothing will happen to her because she is a minor. In the morning, the teacher receives a message demanding a large sum of money. Furious, he confronts Hae-young, and she points to Seon-ah. The teacher finds photographs of all his secret girlfriends on his desk. He realizes that this situation has completely cornered him. Seon-ah feels her power and begins to behave provocatively. She even steals Hae-young's boyfriend just to spite her. In the restroom, Yoon-hoop notices the strange glasses on her friend. Seon-ah admits that she found them and now sees everything the same way. Yoon-hoop tries to warn her about how dangerous this object is, but Seon-ah is only interested in how she can get rid of her own thread. On top of that, she enjoys feeling powerful and exposing the truth about people's loved ones, so she has no intention of giving up the glasses. In the evening, Seon-ah goes on a date, but she is interrupted by a call from the teacher. He tells her that he has gathered the entire amount of money. Hae-young secretly follows the girl and, as it turns out, has overheard the conversation about the glasses. She waits for the right moment and steals the valuable item from the bag. Hae-young walks around the city wearing the glasses, enjoying the new sight, but suddenly she is attacked by someone unknown. Seon-ah discovers the loss and, in a rage, calls Yoon-hoop. She thinks that Yoon-hoop took the glasses to teach her a lesson. Then the girl runs to the school rooftop to meet the teacher. He begs for mercy, reminding her that he has small children. Seon-ah reminds him how he used to turn a blind eye to the bullying she suffered. At that moment, the teacher receives an angry letter from his wife. The man decides that this is Seon-ah's doing and completely loses his sanity. Yoon-hoop rushes to the school and sees the girl falling from a great height. Seon-ah is taken to the hospital in critical condition. Yoon-hoop tells Ji-wook that what happened was not the girl's own decision. The next day, Hae-young and the teacher go completely silent. Heated arguments break out at school about who is to blame for what happened. Yoon-hoop visits Seon-ah, who is connected to life support machines. Meanwhile, one of the young teachers, Jung-woo, suddenly tells a colleague that he has called off his engagement. His fiancée cheated on him with his best friend. After that, Jung-woo finds the magical glasses on his desk and puts them on. He is horrified by how many threads he sees above the heads of his colleagues and Ji-wook. Ji-wook continues the investigation and learns that Seon-ah had been looking for some guy. He also sees on the security cameras that Hae-young stole the glasses, but his superiors order him to close the case as an accident. Thanks to the glasses, Jung-woo uncovers many secrets of his colleagues. He then goes to visit his sister and sees that her husband is cheating on her. He tries to hint at the truth to his sister, but she refuses to listen. Soon, the police find the body of the very teacher who had been involved with Hae-young inside a car. Ji-wook notices strange details that point to the scene being staged. Yoon-hoop asks Ji-wook whether he has found the missing glasses. The detective doesn't understand why this is so important. The girl promises to explain everything if the item ends up in her hands. Jung-woo exposes his sister's husband right at the hotel. He demands that the man immediately confess everything to his wife. Later, he finds out that the man's mistress is pregnant. In a fit of rage, he rushes to his sister's home. There, he witnesses a car accident and discovers a shocking truth. It turns out that his own sister was the secret lover all along. And when Jung-woo demanded that her husband leave the other woman, the man left Jung-woo's sister instead. Hurt and humiliated, the woman decided to take revenge on the pregnant wife of her lover and nearly ran her over with a car. Meanwhile, Ji-wook finds Seon-ah's notebook filled with drawings of lines. Yoon-hoop finally reveals the whole truth about her curse to him. Would you really want to know the hidden secrets of the people around you? And could you forgive someone you love if you saw an extra red line tied to them? Share your thoughts in the comments down below, give a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next videos.